Hello, everyone. I have been so excited about today. I am Trine Schmidt, and I'm here with Tracey Bee, who I recently came across. We have a common interest in helping women, helping people be empowered and see the silver lining of things. And I invited her here today with us because she has insights and we have amazing common interest and excitement about the way of helping people, looking at things from an angle that we haven't quite looked at before, because don't we all want options? We want to feel powerful. We want to know how things go, especially as a woman, feeling empowered, feeling like we can do it ourselves. So today, I want to introduce Tracey Bee, the strategist Bee. She is a family court strategist and a pro se advocate, and she wants you to see the silver lining in the sea of storms that you are facing. We want you to learn about the truth about yourself and how great we are with the way we are and how we are born. So welcome to the stage, Tracey.
Yay! Thank you so
Woo!
Thank you for that intro. That was awesome.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about you and where you came to be, because you kind of have a journey to where you are now, right? Tell us a little bit
Absolutely.
about your background,
Absolutely.
because this is super
Yes.
interesting.
Yes. So I've been in family law for a little over 20 years. I am a former family law attorney and a mediator and instructor, and the list goes on. And in the past maybe 5 years, I decided to pivot because I needed something a little bit more fulfilling and more rewarding. Don't get me wrong, I loved practicing, but it was restricting and limiting and exhausting. And so came to an epiphany. I had a series of events in my life in the past 7 years that caused me to look at life completely differently. I decided that I needed to leave an impact. And one way I can do that was to shift the way I was helping people. I was helping people as a family law attorney, but again, with limitations. So now I am the family court strategist, where I actually work with primarily pro se litigants, helping them navigate their way through divorce and or custody. And I'm a pro se advocate, so I advocate for people who choose to represent themselves. I letting them know what their rights are and empowering them through the journey, because it's somewhat like a cult where people still believe that they have to spend $25,000 and upwards to hire an attorney, to work with an attorney when they're going through divorce. And that's just not the case anymore. So that's who I am, and that's what I'm doing now. And I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change anything.
I love that. There's such a need for people like you in this world. I actually did not know that people like you existed. And, I've personally been through a divorce, and I know how lonely and confusing and intimidating, and talk about fear. It's like you step into divorce or anything that has to do with attorneys or law or courtroom. I don't know if it's just me, but most of the people I've talked to and me personally feel extremely intimidated because you feel powerless. There's not a lot of guidance. We were not trained in how to navigate the law, right? This is what the attorneys are there for.
Absolutely.
And they don't always paint the right picture,
Absolutely.
right? They're
Absolutely.
trained in a certain way, and that is not always the way that it can be. So,
Absolutely.
Tracey empowers people to take this process into their own hands
Absolutely.
and help them get the outcomes that they want and they deserve in an empowering, um, more peaceful way, really, because the
Absolutely.
more we know about stuff and the more we're informed.
It's true.
This is the same about relationships for me. I'm a relationship coach and I'm licensed therapist, and I've taken people through so many life events. And it's not about the life events that we go through. It's more about how do we navigate the relationships? How do we navigate our own internal
Absolutely.
fear response or
Absolutely.
confusion and all the things that surfaces? How do we navigate that in a way that leaves us feeling empowered by we're stepping into the unknown land,
Mhm.
right? Into the unknown. So Tracy is an expert in that. I'm an expert in the relationships. And when I first talked to Tracy the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, this is why I reached out to her.
Yes,
We're super aligned in
absolutely.
the purpose that we want to help people empower themselves. So this
Yes.
is why we're here today.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And it's interesting. People think what I do, I help people achieve a specific outcome, a specific quote unquote win. And I actually help people by working with them, empower them, build
Mm,
their confidence, restore their hope and their faith. I help people shift their mindset to see that whatever it is they're going through, and divorce can be extremely traumatic,
mm,
right? But I help them to see that, what, there's opportunities here.
mm.
There's opportunities to not only change your external circumstances, but there's opportunities to work on yourself. And I
Yeah.
encourage that. I encourage that a lot.
What do you see people face the most, particularly women? What do you see when they come to you? What are they struggling with? Where are they stuck? How are they looking at the future?
They're absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
They're terrified. A lot of them are coming from situations or environments where things were not great, but they were static. They were secure because they knew, they were familiar, it was comfortable. And so to face, because divorce or even breakups actually comes a lot of unknown. I don't
Mm,
know where I'm going to live. I don't know how I'm going to survive. I don't know how I'm going to take care of my children. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. And it's a bunch of I don't knows. So they're terrified. They're terrified for not only their future, but the future of their family as well, their children. And then rightly so. So
yeah.
when they're coming to me, I first like to work with them on accomplishing some basic things. And that is, let's work on what it is you're afraid of and why, right? Let's explore
Mm,
that. Let's do a deep dive in that. And I'm not a
mm,
therapist, so I don't actually approach it from a therapeutic standpoint, but I do work on those skills. I do have a background in mental health. I forgot to mention that. And that's why I do this, because I mesh the two disciplines and I do this and I love it because as an attorney, you're kind of chastised about trying to help people or hold hands of your clients. But as a strategist coach, I can do whatever I want. Of course, there are ethical rules still, but I can still help more. I can give that side of me a little bit more. And I absolutely love it because I did like being a mental health professional. But so I work on them with those things,
mm,
a lot of them being able to succeed in what they're trying to accomplish, there's still a basic foundation that we have to address, that we have to establish. And that is, let's work on those emotions. Let's work on the source of your fear, your doubt. And they're all legitimate. They're all actually reasonable and rational, but we still need to work through them. So don't stifle them. Don't push them down. Don't ignore them. Don't deny them. Let's actually get through this. Let's walk through that. And so, yeah,
yeah.
a lot of them they're terrified.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking from my experience of being in court or dealing with attorneys for the first time, and I didn't have as much, um, I guess, attorney experience in the beginning, but ended up in court later on. Um, you don't really know what you go into. And what I hear you say, in my experience with attorneys, is that I didn't really get like a roadmap, and they certainly didn't talk about fears, right? they they don't cover what is most prevalent during this time. This is a very delicate time where we are so confused. We don't feel what we what our rights are, that we have permission to even speak up. We don't a lot of times even know what we want, right? Because we've never really been asked that question
Absolutely.
before.
Exactly.
It's confusing, it's disempowering, it's disencouraging. And so if you have all of those emotions and stories and beliefs lurking in the background all the time, and you now go into having to make these decisions, it can be really overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And I can see how walking this process with someone like you can uncover some of those, oh my gosh, because why do we not make decisions or step into something new? It's because we're like, well, how can I do it?
Absolutely.
You know, and for you guys, before Tracy and I got on this call today, on this meeting today, we spent about 30 minutes on technical issues. And we were dealing with cameras, we were dealing with microphones, and there was like so many hiccups. And we persevered through it, even to the point where Tracy stepped outside of her comfort zone of plugging in a new camera so we could get this to work, right? And
Absolutely.
she stepped right into that fear. How many of us avoid these like technical things at times and we just let it sit in the corner, or we call somebody and go fix it, right? And she stepped right into it, and ta-ta, we made it work.
That's right.
We're
That's
we're
right.
right here. And this is an analogy for some of the things that we go through in life. As soon as we can step into that discomfort a little bit and start exploring what is in that dark corner, start shedding light on it,
Absolutely.
it's actually a lot less scary.
Hmm.
Combined with this roadmap of what might we expect down the road. So Tracy goes down the strategy of what step by step we're facing during court, you know, preparation beforehand. And I'm sure there's stuff afterwards too of trying to understand, well, what's next, right? Because there might be things coming up down the road that we have to be mindful of. I didn't know any of that stuff. I had no guidance. I was the first person that was divorced in my friend group, and it was very lonely and uncomfortable. And I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about it.
Yeah. I
And nobody gave me advice, or I and a lot of times that advice is not great advice either, because who are they advised by, right? So how do we navigate this? So uncovering those obstacles along the way of laying out what might be unknown can kind of make you feel, okay, I kind of know where I'm going. Talk about that a little bit.
Information is empowering. As
Mm.
a strategist, that's exactly you nailed it. That's exactly what I do. We're gonna talk through, we're gonna walk through everything you're afraid of, every obstacle, every challenge that may come up along the way, and we're going to prepare for that. There's this term I use that my audience is aware of, and I always tell them make preemptive moves. What does that mean? Not preventative ones, preemptive ones. Anticipate what those obstacles and challenges are and make your decisions before they even come along. So, and that way you are empowered. Having information is equivalent to having control.
Mm.
Let the information flow. Yes, you are afraid to deal with those dark moments and the maybe the other party who's always been controlling and manipulating, so you don't want any communication with them anymore, or you don't know who to seek, you know what, let's get in front of that, let's get ahead of
Mm.
that.
Mm.
Because the more you know, the more empowering you are, the better you can prepare, the better you can plot and strategize, right? That's what
No.
it takes. I am a huge advocate of making informed decisions. You can't make informed decisions. You can't make informed moves or make take steps that are informed if you don't know. So hey, just ask. Not every source of information is reliable. Is something you can depend on? Is true? But you know what? Let's get it anyway, and let's sift through it all to see what applies to you. because
Mm.
I listen to everybody. I let everybody talk. I listen to everybody. I read, I watch. And you know what? What I do, I sift through, let's see what makes sense. Let's see what's applicable to my situation, because that's the key too. Your situation is not like anybody else's. You're not like anybody else. The other party's not like anybody else. So let's work fair. So, yes, explore, listen, watch, hear, even to yourself.
Mm.
To
Mm.
yourself. Do not run. Do not be ashamed. Do not work through all of that. Work through it all.
Wow, work through it all. Absolutely. What is the biggest aha moments that you have seen people discover through your process?
Oh, the biggest one that stands out to me is the ones that actually come back to me after they've gone to court and they said, you know what, Tracey, I didn't get the outcome that I want, but you know what? Working with you, I felt so empowered and confident when I walked into that courtroom. Prior to working with you, I would be afraid to speak publicly. I would get really nervous and anxious. But now that I work with you, and even though the judge did not do exactly what I wanted, I felt so much more in control. I felt so empowered, so confident, and I attribute it all to you. And so, you know what? And that's when it dawned on me. Hey, wait a minute. It's not necessarily the strategic stuff that I'm teaching them. It's the overall impression or the mindset shift that it's allowing people to do. And I actually tell people now, working with me is not just beneficial for right now. You're going to develop and acquire skills, revelations about yourself that you can take over to any part of your life for the rest of your life. And so
Wow.
that is the biggest aha moment when they're, and I've had quite a few people come back to me and say, hey, I didn't get full custody, or I didn't get whatever. But guess what I did gain? I gained
Mm.
my sense of self-control, empowered, and confidence back. And that is priceless. That's why I do this. That's exactly why I do it.
Mm. So at the end of the day, life is really not about the outcome, right? It's not about getting the job or getting the result that we have planned in our head in court, or not getting divorced, or having 3 kids and we end up with 4 or none because we can't get pregnant, okay? So at the end of the day, we can't control those circumstances, right? We cannot control the outcome of court. But coming out of a process feeling still empowered, because that's consistent. Our internal power, our internal self-worth and self-confidence, like the one that we're born with, the one that never goes away, the
Absolutely.
one that sees the silver lining of things, that's just inherent. And when we tap into that, which we help our clients do, it's just, it permeates through all the areas
That's right.
of life. And what better place to do that in a very, very sensitive, delicate situation as
Absolutely.
divorce? This is where we reclaim our power. This is where we step into who we truly are. This is my biggest passion in life right now, is empowering women to achieve relationship freedom.
Yeah.
Relationship freedom. It doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship. It can be getting out of a relationship
That's right.
too. But the entanglement
Mm.
that relationship offers us, and we feeling that we have to be small and we have to settle and we have to compromise ourselves, or, oh, we did something wrong. Oh my gosh, let me make sure I make up for it. If anybody has recently read Let Them by
Mm.
Mel Robbins, it's a new book
Mm.
that just came out by her. I'm reading it right now, and although this is not necessarily a new concept, the let them theory is powerful because it's just 2 words that can reconnect you with yourself, and allowing other people their process, and allowing them and letting them do their thing, because we cannot control it. But what we can control is our own happiness, and stepping into our own confidence with all the options, right? The
Yes.
freedom of what all these options they come with.
That's right.
Because when we have those, we can make an informed choice in every moment because we trust ourselves, we trust our own power. We can step into that at any time, in any situation
Absolutely.
that we're in.
Absolutely. The first relationship that's the integral part of anything is the one you have with yourself. And that is exactly what my overall goal is when I'm
So
working.
how did you come to this, Tracy? I'm curious. How did you come to this sense of inherent self-love? Because, most of us
Oh,
kind
that
of
was
lose
hard.
that along the way.
Yeah,
So do
yeah.
you
I
mind just sharing a little bit about
Not
your
at all.
story of
Not
how
at
you
all.
came to be so insightful?
I in 2017, I lost my mom, my sister first, and my mom 8 months later.
Mm,
And it was hard because they both lived in the house with me that I'm in right now, and for years. And so to lose them both in the same year, my world literally turned upside down, literally.
yeah.
And I went in darkness for a while. I just shut down. And I was an extrovert. I was sociable. I was, you name it. Once that happened, the clouds were just constant. And in 2018, October of 2018, I decided I can't live like this anymore. This is not who I am. This is not the true Tracey. This is not the Tracey who most of the time saw some opportunity in the darkness. And I literally committed myself to doing the work. I mean, I had affirmations taped all over my house. I did mirror affirmations. I did rituals. I did, you name it. I didn't work with anybody. I worked with myself. And it took mm, roughly about 4 years of just doing self love things, tasks, meditation. I mean, yoga, you name it. I tried it all. And I managed to come out of it. I managed to come out of it. I managed to, and I still, every morning before I get out of bed, I tell myself, I make the choice and I tell myself, today is a good day. It's not going to be a good day. It is a good day. And these are all the things that's going to happen for me today.
Mm,
And I've been doing that ever since then. And you know what? I still have my moments, but that actually changed my life. That was the ultimate example of a sea of storms and
mm,
seeing that silver lining. That silver lining is this Tracey that exists, that's sitting in front of you right now, who believes that there's nothing meant to destroy you,
yeah.
to decimate you. These are failures. There's a second chance.
Mm,
Darkness, there's light. There's always an opportunity. The moment you wake up, yes, affirm that this is the day that you're going to get a second chance, or you're going to change things for yourself, for your life, for your future, for your family, whatever it is. And yes, that's exactly how I got to who and where I am right now. Believing, doing that work. Yeah.
wow. It's so inspiring. And I hear this over and over again on my podcast and the people that I interview, people I collaborate with, people I work with. And I remember, I stepped back about 10, 15 years where I felt very lost.
Mm.
I would probably not say at the time I felt lost.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
Um, but I felt, what's the opposite of expanded? Like restricted. I felt
Mm.
very restricted. I felt like my my light was dimmed.
Mm.
I felt like I could shine so much brighter. I knew there was more. And I would always look outside. I would always look to other people or certain relationships or even mentorships or books or trainings. And I understood the internal work part. I understood that it all starts from within, and I felt like I was kind of doing that. But what I was missing at the time was perspective.
Mm.
And I hope that everybody listens to Tracy's story and hear my words in this, that if you're feeling some anxiety, maybe even some depressive thoughts, feeling stuck, feeling kind of restricted, that you know that your light can shine brighter. It's really about making sure that you step into patience and kindness with yourself, that you step into rooms that can marinate in this love and expansion that you were looking for. Because at the end of the day, it is a step by step. It doesn't happen overnight. You're not all of a sudden going to wake up with some revelation
Mhm.
of that, oh, now I get it. And working with Tracy and working with me, and we're going to tell you in a minute what we're working on together, because this is going to be super exciting. And I hope people are going to jump on it, because this is a great opportunity to kind of combine wisdom and giving the key to your freedom. And the key is not the opening up of all of a sudden we wake up one day and like, woo, we see things differently. I don't know if you guys have ever meditated before or started meditation or even like riding a bike or driving a car for the first time. And just imagine something that takes some time, right? You just can't imagine when you sit in the car for the first time that you can actually drive this thing, right? Like, oh my God, I was super scared when I first entered a car. I did not have any excitement. Same with meditation. A lot of people talk about, oh, meditation is not for me. I can't meditate. I don't know how to do it. And I asked him, "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm sitting down, but I'm having all these thoughts, and I'm not really meditating." And I'm like, "Well, who said that that meditation is all about, like, a blank space and just
Exactly.
kinda be with your thought?"
Exactly.
That's kinda part of the practice,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And the more we meditate and the more we commit to the process, the more faint those thoughts are gonna be, and they're just kinda be clouds in the sky that passes by. And eventually you're gonna drop deeper and you're gonna get out of your meditation and you're gonna be thinking that you meditated for 5 minutes. All of a sudden it's been 20, 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And that happens with practice.
Yes.
And I didn't know that until it was told to me over and over and over and over again. I needed guidance to put it in perspective, right? We're talking about perspective because you can't. I don't want you to quit. I'm talking to the listeners right now, right? I don't want you to lose hope. I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to ever feel stuck. I always want you to step into momentum.
Mm.
I always want you to take that next step, not out of fear, but out of love for yourself and
That's
out
it.
of your own empowerment.
That's it.
That momentum, I call the love train.
Mm.
You're stepping on the love train
Yeah.
and it's going full speed in one direction of seeing the silver lining,
Mm.
seeing gain,
Yeah.
measuring gain. You measure gain by measuring backwards of where you were yesterday,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So the love train, instead of being on the complaint train,
Mm.
the complaint train is marinating in fear.
Mhm.
It's marinating in pain.
Yes.
This is where there's rain, where there's, you know, um, strain.
Yes.
And that's okay.
It
We
is.
wanna welcome it because that's what life is all about. It's
Exactly.
not about getting off that train necessarily. It's about being aware of it.
That's it.
And then you can choose, you know what? I do not want to create that kind of momentum of pain anymore.
Mm.
Just like Tracy's experience of pain from grief, pain from loss. Divorce is also a loss.
Huge
We're
one.
literally saying goodbye to part of ourselves. We're literally saying goodbye to what could have been.
Yes. Yes.
Just poof,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
What am I giving my kids? What am I doing my family? And it's just, and you're gonna encounter things that you never thought was even a thing. And that's when we let go of outcome and saying, okay, well, the only thing I can step on is like the love train and the momentum of what's possible, seeing the silver lining, seeing the possibilities, seeing me for who I am. And if I can step into that in every situation with empowerment and clarity and options, you might be painting a future that looks a lot more amazing than you ever thought.
Totally agree.
This
Absolutely.
may not be something that you can really think about right now, but I am standing proof of that.
Mm,
Let
yeah.
me tell you, I'll walk through all of it longer than I wanted to.
Mm,
So we're giving you an opportunity to shorten the pain, embracing it, welcoming it, using it to step into your new power.
absolutely. Absolutely. That is
Mm.
good. Better myself. Absolutely. That is key. You hit on so much in that last part. You hit on so much because that's it. Looking outside of yourself. And I tell people this in just everyday life, not just my clients that I work with. Looking outside of yourself for understanding, for comfort, for answers, for whatever it is. It helps sometimes, but you should start with yourself.
Yeah.
You are bigger and better than you can actually imagine.
Mm.
You have the answers. You have every single thing you need just because you were created. Just because whatever God you believe in, just because you were created with everything you need already. You don't have to.
Mm.
It's a good thing because it helps us, the ego still comes in and tries to protect us and that's okay. That's fine. That's the ego's job. But then there's this soul part of you that has to say, hey, ego, sit down for a second. I'm okay. I got this. And let me just allow myself to believe that I am going to be okay because that's who I am. That's my birthright. And so, absolutely. And I'm constantly reminding people of that. Yeah, you're going to have moments of being stuck. That's what life is about. The idea is to unstuck yourself, and believe that you can unstuck yourself. It can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that that is a testament to those clients coming out on the other side. And that's probably what I in the beginning found the most surprising, just like you said, that what people came out with, and this is why I created my system around that. This is why you created the process and roadmap that you do, is they come out with, I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
I had the answers inside the whole time. All I needed to do is get still.
Yes. Yes. That's it.
And I mean, I get goosebumps just even thinking about it
That's it.
because I'm so honored to be a witness of
Mm,
all of these stories that you are
mm,
telling and sharing, and
mm,
all of the stories that my clients have been sharing
mm,
about this process, because
mm.
there's no right or wrong way of getting there.
Right.
I just don't want people to stay stuck and in pain
Absolutely.
longer than necessary. I
Absolutely.
just can't,
Yeah.
if I could just like kind of save myself
Mm,
from some pain of 10, 15 years where I was just like flailing around
mm,
and
mm,
reading one book after the other and just having it be knowledge, but it
mhm,
never really wisdom, never really
mm,
integrated,
mm.
never really internalized into using it as my own power and
Yes.
stepping into bold action and
Yes.
being out there and just say, hey, this is me. And I can say no and I can set boundaries and I can be kind and
Mhm,
loving at the same time.
mhm.
What? Is that possible?
Yeah.
And so I don't want people to be stuck in that.
Yes. That's the key.
So Tracey and I, we've talked about how can we serve, how can we serve women on a higher level?
Yeah.
How can we serve people on a higher level? How can we join forces in this? Because we recognize that divorce is something that's not really talked about. It's not normalized. And when you talk to friends about it, a lot of times we get those horror stories
Mm,
of, oh my gosh, ex-husband this and ex-husband that, and court this and judge that. That does not help you navigate your
absolutely.
internal stuff
Yes.
that's happening that is going to solve and help the whole process.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
not the circumstance.
And
It's not the
yeah.
husband. It's not the kids. It's not whatever it is. All of that is difficult and things and factors that we have to navigate.
Mhm.
But the only person that's going to navigate that is you.
That's it.
And we have the tool and we have the wisdom
Yes.
to take you by the hand through that process.
Absolutely.
So we're putting together a masterclass, and we are going to offer you guys a free ticket to the masterclass.
Yes.
Tracey's going to be my honored guest in that masterclass, where we're going to walk you through the steps of navigating divorce, both from a strategic point of, oh my gosh, what am I getting myself into, right? And this is even for people that may have gone through some of this stuff. We're not just
Absolutely.
only
Yes.
walking through, what am I getting myself into? This could be a year after divorce,
Exactly.
and you are still kind of navigating
That's right.
some legal stuff or co-parenting issues or whatnot. And you are now ready to take charge of your life. You're now ready and say, who am I?
Mhm.
How do I do this? Where do I even start?
Yes.
And we're going to create that language for you. We're going to help you, give you some tools and some vocabulary that just helps with the perspective so you can manifest the life that you want. So you can
Absolutely.
take charge. You can step into who you truly are with your powerful voice and your purpose. And as I say, transformations change generations.
Mhm. Mhm.
The more you step into who you are and your true power, the more you can give to your kids.
That's right.
The more you can teach them how to
100.
go through life and go through pain and go through obstacles.
That's right. That's right.
Even our parents. I've had tremendous effects on my parents and how they navigate
Mm.
life just by the choices that I made. It's
Nice.
not my responsibility, and it was certainly their choice to step into that same love train momentum. But it's so beautiful to see how things just happen around us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's huge.
Are you excited, Tracey?
Absolutely. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm always excited to, first of all, to pair up with people who have very similar goals and missions in life. That really excites me. But I'm also excited about doing something collaboratively, where I can guest appear and share with people, your audience, my audience, there are ways to actually navigate divorce, custody to your quote unquote benefit. Come on, let's get that silver lining. Let's actually grab a hold of it and make good of it. So, yes, I'm super excited. Yes, I am ready to go.
Woo! All right. So if you guys are interested in this masterclass, we have not set a date yet. So it is to be determined on what date it is, but you have the option to sign up right now. If you're interested in a free masterclass with Tracey and I, sign up. I will post a link for you. I will also post links on how to directly connect with Tracey. And we're going to set this off, and you're going to hear a lot more from us, both individual and the joint efforts that we're going to do to change the momentum of divorce, right? Change how we can navigate this with more ease. This is just so important. It's so important. So we are not left broken and we are not left like we've done something wrong, but we're actually utilizing these transitions as life force, as I call it,
I love it.
from divorce to life force is probably
Love
what
that.
we're going to be calling the masterclass.
Yes.
Step into your life force.
Love that.
Divorce is a gift at times.
Yes.
I know a lot of people don't like when I say that. And my clients sometimes they're
No,
like,
I get it too.
Trina, this is not a gift,
I get
and
that
not
too.
just divorce. I'm talking about conflicts or
Mhm.
difficult people in your life, right? And I'll be like, oh, but it really is. Oh, it really is a gift.
It is.
Because out of that contrast is so much freedom. There's possibilities.
That's right.
There's growth. You're
Yes.
gonna step into a new version of
I
yourself.
did.
Like, let's go. Welcome it. You guys feel it? It's like
Yes. Yes.
be on that wave. Come on, let's
Do
get on the train, right? Like, what is there to explore? Welcome it. It is here. It's in your face. It came into your life for a reason. You've
Absolutely.
done nothing wrong. You're actually exactly where you're supposed to be.
That's right.
So let's navigate it
Yeah.
together.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, Tracy and I are pumped. Any final words of wisdom in regards to what we've talked about today and your learnings?
My one line to wrap this up, exactly what you just said. Your loss is your gain. It is. It's your gain. It's your opportunity. It is. Let's grab hold of it. This is your time. This is your moment. Let's do it.
Awesome. Tracy, it was such a pleasure being here with you today, and I'm so glad that I found you and I jumped on this. This is
Amazing.
the creation of the higher realm.
Exactly.
That
Yes.
brings us together in
Exactly.
this.
Yes.
Um,
I'm
I'm
excited.
really excited for what we're gonna be doing next with our masterclass. I'm really glad of what we can offer our community and our listeners. I am glad to be able to have been present with my audience, but as well as your beautiful audience. And remember, you guys, be kind and patient with yourself. Sign up for the next steps. If this is for you, then sign up, commit to this,
That's right.
because this is where change really happens. This is the ripple effects that you're going to have in your life. And we're right there with you. We see you, we hear you, we love you for who you are. That's our purpose in life. This is what we've stepped into. This is what we've been called to be doing. And we love it. And we love holding people's hands through that because you deserve it. You deserve being supported. You deserve being listened to. And we're here for that.
There you go.
So thank you guys for listening.